Welcome to the deep dive. We got some really interesting info sent over about Austrian work visas, new possibilities.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. And we looked into it.
So the big headline, it seems, is the removal of age limits for some visa types.
That's right.
If you've been considering Austria for work, but maybe thought, age was an issue, well, this deep dive is for you.
Definitely. We want to unpack what this change really means, what doors it might open.
Let's get straight to it then. This core change, age potentially not being a deciding factor anymore for some Austrian work visas.
Which is quite significant because age limits are, well, they're pretty common in immigration policies worldwide.
Exactly. So if you've got years of experience, maybe you wrote Austria off because of your age, it sounds like you might need to reconsider.
I think so. When a country makes a shift like this, it usually signals something about their needs.
Like a skills shortage.
Yeah, perhaps shortages in specific sectors where experienced pros can just jump in and make a difference regardless of age. It feels like a targeted move.
Okay, but the info mentioned certain work visas. That's
Yeah.
important, right? Probably not a blanket removal of all age restrictions.
Almost certainly not. That would be unusual.
So, based on what we have, what kinds of visas are we likely talking about here? Where might age no longer be a factor?
Well, the details weren't fully spelled out, but you'd logically expect this to apply to visas for skilled workers, key employees.
People with specific qualifications, sought-after skills?
Precisely. Think like tech, engineering, maybe healthcare, fields where deep experience is often a major plus. It's probably less likely for, say, youth exchange programs or things like that.
That makes sense. You need that experience in those roles.
Yeah.
So the age hurdle might be lower or gone for some, but it's not just walk right in, is it?
Oh, definitely not.
What other conditions, what requirements are probably still firmly in place?
You're still going to need to meet the core immigration requirements. That's almost guaranteed.
Like a job offer.
Absolutely. A confirmed job offer from an Austrian company. You'll need to prove you have the skills, the qualifications for that specific job.
And language skills.
Potentially, yes. Depending on the job, the region. German proficiency might be necessary. These are, standard checks. They want to ensure people can actually integrate and work effectively.
So the takeaway is your skills and your experience become the main focus, potentially more than your age, for these specific routes.
Exactly. It sort of levels the playing field for older, experienced talent.
Right. And this is where it gets interesting, thinking bigger picture. What are the ripple effects if Austria actually does this?
Well, it sends a strong signal, doesn't it? Other countries might watch this.
And maybe follow suit.
Perhaps. If it works for Austria, maybe we see a broader trend. Countries realizing that experienced workers, regardless of age, bring immense value.
And for Austria itself.
Could mean a more diverse workforce in terms of age. More experienced, that could boost innovation, productivity in those key industries they're targeting.
Okay, let's bring it back to the listener. If you're listening now and Austria was on your list, but age felt like that barrier.
This could genuinely change things for you. It suddenly makes exploring the Austrian job market much more relevant.
Yeah, looking at how your specific skills, your career history, might now fit perfectly.
It really prompts that question, doesn't it? How can those decades of experience become your biggest selling point for Austria now?
Yeah, is that Austrian dream suddenly back on the table?
It might just be. Worth investigating, for sure.
Okay, so to wrap up, the key point. Austria seems to be opening up some work visa pathways by removing age limits. This is potentially great news for experienced professionals.
Absolutely. Big potential shift. And it leaves us with a thought, doesn't it?
Which is?
Is Austria just the first domino? Could this move signal a larger global shift how economies value and attract talent? Moving beyond age, focusing purely on skills and experience.
Something to definitely keep an eye on. A fascinating development.